Let's see, Eric, you want to read this little bit from Bruce Conner. What an amazing San Francisco filmmaker and incredible artist. If you don't know about Bruce Conner, man, check him out. It was like he would master one art form and then win and be great, and then you go, I'm out of here. And go, wait a minute, you know, can't you melt that for 70 years? Like Mark Pauline says of Survival Research Laboratories, early on, he's been doing it for 35 years, making machines that beat up themselves. You know, that's high art for San Francisco, and he's an incredible artist. It's like, he said 20 years ago, he says, I hope to be doing this for 50 or 70 years. It really hasn't changed that much, but all the power to him. But it takes a lot of courage to master an art form and then go, okay, I'm out of here. And I was like, wait a minute, I can keep making money at. I mean, and Jasmine being a gallery owner, she knows. The guy says to him, okay, Bruce, you didn't sign these paintings. And he goes, I don't want to sign them. He goes, you gotta sign them. I can't sell them. I'm just sign them. He says, just sign them yourself. He goes, it doesn't work. So just put a rubber stamp with them. It doesn't work. You gotta sign them. He goes, just sign the back. Well, and then in another art show, he says, just call it the paintings of Dennis Hopper. Who was a friend of his. It's like, don't put my name on it. It's like, that doesn't work. and under his occupation, he said nothing. You know, and so the funny thing is we did an event at bookstore Bird and Beckett today on Mez Road. It was Louis Armstrong's Jewish pot dealer. One of the best books on music ever. You got to read it, really blues. And it was co-written by Bernard Wolfe, who invented cybernetics. So it's like been an amazingly complex, clairvoyant day. And there was Bruce Conner's wife in our audience, married to Bruce for 51 years. And it was an honor because I recently read this review in Nation magazine of a new book on Bruce Conner. And in the midst of this little review is this excerpt of Bruce describing something that happened to him when he was 11 years old. So Eric here is going to read a little piece of Bruce Conner.
The sun was shining through the window. I was lying on the floor and I was looking out across the rug at the light floor. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it's all on one page.
Like on the floor.
Yeah, there you go.
I went into a state of consciousness which I couldn't describe afterwards. I changed. I changed physically. I changed conceptually. And it took hundreds of years. I changed and grew old. Through all kinds of experiences in worlds of totally different dimensions. And then I became aware of myself being in the room. Here I am, in a room, and I'm enormously old. How can I ever get up? I'm practically disintegrated. I'm an ancient person. My bones are falling apart. I can't move. And then I slowly become aware of the rug. I look at my hands, and they're not old. I knew I was an old, ancient person, but I didn't look that way. I didn't understand what had happened, and I wanted to talk to someone about it. I couldn't. There weren't words to describe the experience. The only thing I could think of was that it was like a dream. It wasn't a dream, but very real. It wasn't science fiction. There were so many things that were unknown secrets that adult society knew that they didn't let children know about. I thought this was one of them.
Thank you, Eric. That was Bruce Conner, and I really appreciate being able to just read that and for him to open up and tell us that. It's sort of like a secret. Joseph Beuys tries to change society with his art. He says, make the secrets productive. And Lou Welsh, another great San Francisco poet, that's some of his life was San Francisco, right? Okay, he is an ad man, and he wrote great ad, 4 words, raid kills bugs dead. If that ain't great poetry, I don't know what is. He said, guard your secrets, but constantly reveal them. So it feels like to me that Bruce is just like telling us a secret, and he's just letting it out. So he's outing his inner. And so, Eric, we'll start with you. You've answered this question a couple times out of this great trip we've had. This next question is, can thoughts create emotions? So this is about thinking, so head and heart. Can thoughts create emotions? Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
They can drive.
They can drive them, okay?
Maybe the thoughts come out of it.
Thoughts come out of the emotions, thank you.
I think they can.
Okay?
Yep.
Yes. Interactively?
Interactively, thank you.
Sure they can, but you don't act on them all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maya?
I think you can think certain thoughts on purpose to make yourself feel a certain way.
That's like, I always say, self-brain, MK Ultra yourself. Yeah, self-brainwashers. Or as the sub-genius say, pull the wool over your own eyes.
They think about them.
They is the what? The thoughts.
The thoughts think about them.
Thoughts think about emotions. That's good, thank you. I like that. Thoughts think about emotions. Very good.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I agree.
Not?
Affirmative.
Only if the dog next door is in the house.
Can thoughts create emotions?
I think that emotions filter thoughts.
Thank you. Will?
It can go both ways.
Thank you. V. Vale said an amazing thing. He says, no, emotions create emotions.
Yeah.
And I have an interview with George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelics. It's the longest interview ever with them. I just put it up online. It's from 1995, and he has a really great exploration on that question. So I can keep going. I don't want to wear you out, but we'll sort of run it down a little more towards the closing, and I would appreciate any questions or comments at all. But keeping this in mind is, are we more head or are we more heart? It's sort of the same question, keeping in mind, like what guides us more, head or heart? And indeed, Stan Vanderbeek created experiences in the 60s, underground film experiences like this in upstate New York in a dome where people would come and lay on mattresses and stare at this kind of filmmaking. And he would start the shows at 11 p.m. because he sort of knew what Harry Smith said, is that cinema, function of cinema is to put people to sleep. Which is funny because Yoko Ono says, if you dream a dream alone, it's a dream. If you dream a dream with other people, it's reality. Sounds real positive. Like, let's all dream peace together, then we'll have it. Well, what do you do in a movie theater? You all dream the same sort of story together, and then you believe it's reality. Think of those people in Colorado when the Joker jumped on stage and shot him, and they're like, is this a joke? And then they're bleeding. Whoa, you know. And then the people insisted on going back and seeing the rest of the film. I mean, that whole experience is study the hidden effects of cinema. That is a perfect example. Like, what do we do? How do we study that one? So, anyways,